No phone calls, no messages. Nothing but junk mail and overdue bills to keep me company. Seems nobody wants to hire a real private dick anymore, a professional like me. A guy who does the detective work nobody else wants to do. A guy who wears hats and walks around in a black and white world. I began contemplating a more profitable line of work, like politics.
We are the show you want to know. It's time to talk to you.
All right, folks, good afternoon, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show here on AM 830 WCRN. I am actually live today in studio and at the palatial but not overly ostentatious studios here in Westboro, which feels like I haven't been here forever, Ted. I don't know. We've done it remotely for so long. Good to be back in studio. Everything's the same. Let's do housekeeping. You can join the conversation for the next hour at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000. Lines are open and available today behind the glass behind the board. There you go. He'll get you set up and into studio for two-way talk and conversation. Don't forget the text lines running 617-297-8388, 617-297-8388. You can text like you would anybody else. It appears on the screen here in studio in real time. Some of these are like a book or an email. Why don't you pick up the phone and call 508-871-7000? That might work better. Hey, we do stream 24/7 to the TuneIn app. So that means you can take us anywhere. I love that feature, folks. And you can tell Alexa to play WCRN. She'll do that. No questions asked. I am streaming from the WCRN studios, so you can watch and listen. If you want to peek into the studio here, excuse me, you can do that at, the station's Facebook page, the station's YouTube channel, my social media platforms at Joe Mangi Show, M-A-N-G-I. That would be Twitch TV, LinkedIn profile, X, as well as Facebook, and of course, Rumble. All those options are happening. You can also always subscribe to the show as a podcast because it is turned into a podcast as soon as I get off the air. And not just the replay link on WCRNradio.com, but on Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. All right, where do we go? Obviously, we're in day 10 of the Iranian conflict. You know, they keep calling this a war. I don't know. That isn't really a war. First of all, we haven't declared war as a country since 1942. That aside, it's a kinetic action, is it not? And you heard it in the news at the top of the hour. Day one, right? The talking heads on the left are coming out with forever wars and all this other stuff that they're doing instead of rallying behind the troops and supporting our American military servicemen and our allies, Israel, for that matter. The important thing is, apparently today is going to be the most intense day, right? We're being told this is going to, you haven't seen anything yet. Wait till you see what we do to you today. The irony being Iran has steadily reduced their ability to throw anything back at us or to do anything, as the president said. They have no functioning Navy, Air Force. We've been hitting their abilities to launch the number of things. When I say things, because they've used missiles, but they're just into these kamikaze drones, right? Or they call them the one-way drones. Well, the purpose of where they're going, it's a kamikaze drone. And I think it's wonderful. We captured, meaning our military, I don't know if we captured a drone. We recovered a drone. We guarded one of their drones. And we took a look at it. We ripped out their guts. We kind of put our American stamp on it, our technology in it, turned them around, mass produced them. And now we have, relative to our normal munitions, a very inexpensive weapon in the bigger picture. Instead of a couple $1 million for a Patriot missile, we can throw these suicide drones back at them. Brilliant. Right out of the outer war, isn't it? So what's interesting, there was one particular recollection being made about an admiral in one of these in a carrier group, and Iran started throwing these drones at us. And this was brilliant. The admiral, actually, I think it might have been a captain of the fleet. It's okay. He fired a couple $2 million missiles to take out these drones. And he did this very purposefully, because what that did is those trying to figure out how to handle the American or the might of the American military and Navy said, wow, okay, we've got tons of these. And it's every time they're going to take one down, they're spending a couple $1 million plus. Let's send all of them, overwhelm them. And the captain of the fleet did this purposefully. He wanted them to send and overwhelm him with the suicide drones. He wanted them to think that's how we were going to defend. And once you had all of these drones coming, we used our energy weapons, our EMP weapons, and we just blasted the entire flight, a flock of them, or a squadron, I guess, squadron of these drones, frying all the electronics and navigation and control, and they just dropped out of the sky and into the ocean. So I think we've got this handled. And then we've got all these people BI about the gas and the prices. Slow your roll, guys. Slow your roll on this. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. 508-871-7000. That's how you reach into the studio, like Rich is doing in the car. Hey, Rich, what say you?
Yeah, how you doing? I'm in the car, so I can't use my speaker.
No problem.
Does your entire audience buy this propaganda?
Which propaganda are we talking about?
That Iran was an imminent threat of ours when our own intelligence agency disputes that? Does anyone in your audience know that this war is all about Israel? Donald Trump would never do this on his own.
Now, how do you come to? Wait a minute. Okay, first of all, how do you come to that belief? And do you really think what Benji's telling Trump? Just clarify it for me. Tell me your thought process and how you get there.
Because I read, Joe.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So quote one of the sources. Quote your argument. How?
I read everything. I read the American Conservative. You ever read that website?
Yeah, but I'm asking you why you think this is propaganda. And then you said Trump never would have done this if it wasn't for Israel.
And the American public is wising up. Israel is a strategic liability. Do you know how much this war cost? The first day of this war cost. Okay. What could you do with $6 billion? I mean, when are people going to wake up? $6 billion.
Okay, so Rich, let me ask you something. If we did nothing, and
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm trying to listen, but I can't put the speaker on.
All right. So if we didn't take any action in this, and in the opening remarks on the negotiations from Iran, where we have enough enriched uranium for 11 nuclear bombs, which if they were smart, they would have, cut the number in half. So maybe they have enough for 22 or 30, but put a pin in that. So the opening silo, the opening volley from Iran and the negotiations is, we already have nuclear bombs and we can do this. Now, just a simple question. Do you consider an Islamic state like Iran, who has been calling and chanting death to America since 1979, who have killed thousands of Americans and thousands of soldiers over the 47 years they've been in power, and now they have a nuclear bomb? Do you think that's cool?
Can I answer that?
I just asked you the question.
Okay, I'll start out by saying, how many of your listeners know that Israel has hundreds of atomic bombs, okay, and they're not a member of the International Atomic Energy Commission? So how can a country with 0 atomic bombs be an existential threat to a country with hundreds of them?
Okay.
Most powerful military in the Middle East.
Sure. Rich, let me just, I don't know why you keep going on the listeners, but okay. I think they do. My question to you is, how do you not know Israel has atomic bombs and lots of them? How would somebody functioning in today's world not know that? The question isn't whether they have them or not. The question is, wait, let me finish the question is, what would they do with them and how would they use them? And that, look, Britain has them too. Russia has them. Multiple countries have them. The ones that are concerned to us are probably North Korea and, of course, Iran, if they got it, or if they got the functioning ones. So that's, I know you have a hair across your butt here about Israel, obviously, but they've had them for a long time. We know they have them. And again, I go back to this simple scenario. Let's talk about the recent Gaza war and what they did to Israel on October 7th. So if Israel is in a fight, the way it usually goes, if they were to lay their arms down and stop aggression, they would be wiped out as a people. It'd be annihilated. If the other side puts their weapons down, Israel stops. That's what has traditionally happened. So the fact that Israel has multiple nuclear bombs does not concern me at a fraction of Iran having them or North Korea having them. Well, in China for that matter, but I don't think China's lightly going to take it. But we have an Islamic State that is religious fanatics who actually, these people believe that because of the Quran, they have the right to kill infidels. They have a right to force their way of life in their laws against our Constitution, against the Western world. If Islam is so fantastic, why do they want to keep going to other countries and spreading it? Fix your own damn country.
Joe, I'm really glad that you're letting me have this conversation. It's why do
Rich,
we
I'm not doing this. We have hard breaks. You're welcome to hold on, but I can't control it. We break at 15. Well, I have to do that. You're welcome to hold on through a 2-minute break, folks. AM 830 WCRN Radio Central 508-871-7000. Back in 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Bad decisions limit future options. Stop adversity from becoming stress. Listen to The Float Line with host Rick Hughes, Sundays at 9 a.m. on AM 830 WCRN for inspiration, education, all without manipulation. The Float Line, Sundays at 9 a.m. Life is busy and mealtime shouldn't be a burden. Heart to Home Meals makes it easy to stock your freezer with delicious chef-prepared meals designed with seniors in mind. Choose from over 150 options, including hearty favorites and lighter choices. Then simply heat and enjoy when you're ready. No subscription, no minimum order, no hidden fees, and delivery is always free, brought right to your door by local drivers. Heart to Home Meals, more time enjoying life, less time worrying about dinner.
Have you noticed past the age of 30, your energy level, mood, skin, and body has changed, and maybe not for the better? It may have to do with DHEA levels. DHEA is an important building block for more than 50 different hormones, and the body naturally produces DHEA. We make the most DHEA in our prime between the ages of 18 to 25. DHEA levels decline each year in men and women after about age 30. Research has established that maintaining healthy DHEA levels may help us feel more energetic, help reduce belly fat, and help us get a better night's sleep. Often, youthful levels of DHEA are tied to good health, while declining levels can contribute to an assortment of common health problems. Twist 25 is a high-quality DHEA supplement cream that absorbs easily into the skin, leaving no odor or oily residue. To learn more, visit twist25.com or call toll-free 888-489-4782. Look and feel your best with Twist 25, 888-489-4782.
Never miss any of your favorite programs on Radio Central WCRN. For on-demand replays of this and other shows, visit WCRNradio.com.
All right, folks, welcome back here. The second segment of the Tuesday afternoon edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. And that replay link on WCRNradio.com, wonderful thing to do. And yes, the show is available, but also this show is available as a podcast, wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Google Play. And I checked the stats. Actually, iHeartRadio is the most popular platform that the show is downloaded as a podcast. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. Rich in the car was with us before the break. Let's come back to it, Rich. And you can restate your position. And I know you're thinking the listeners are buying this propaganda. I think
No, I'm not.
I think the line that Israel somehow forced out of all the people in the world, Donald Trump, into this war, I think that's a little bit of propaganda.
How much money does he get from Sheldon Allison? He got about 200. Look, I didn't mean to yell. I think you're a reasonable conservative. That's why I want to have a discussion. Okay, all right. 59 years of oppressive occupation. October 7th didn't happen in a vacuum.
Absolutely not.
The Israelis had a copy of the plan. They literally had a copy of the plan, and they took 12 hours to respond. Many of the casualties were self-inflicted by the IDF. Netanyahu wanted this, so he has an excuse to take over the whole. They want to take over the whole, biblical Israel. I mean,
but have they, Rich? Have they ever really have a history of that? That's not. Israel has never demonstrated that they want to take over all of the Middle East, whereas conversely,
not the Middle East. Not the Middle East. No, I'm not saying but Greater Israel. From the
But
Israel.
Rich, they in 2005 they turned the keys to Gaza over to them and said
that's because it was a liability. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly, but they still continued to give them $2 billion a year in aid, provided water and electricity, and instead of building a thriving community and building roads and schools and hospitals, they actually ripped up water pipes to make launchers, and they built tunnels, and they started preparing for war and October 7th. So I don't understand how Israel's the bad guy. I get what you're saying, and I'll be honest with you, because we can go back to the recording of this show immediately following October 7th, when I was asking, why the hell did this even happen? Where was the security? Why did it take so long to respond? So I'm with you on that.
No,
I have the audio evidence that I was asking those questions.
No, Joe, I think you're a reasonable guy. I'm not fighting with you. I'm just
no. I and nor am I with you. So there's some common ground that we're asking the same questions. But do I have a problem with what we're doing right now in Iran? No, because that's one of the places that would actually have me stocking the cabin in Vermont.
Well, can I ask you a question? Okay, how can we, whether it's Donald Trump or anybody, any Democrat, how can they solve the problems of this country if we are spending more on the military than the next 10 countries combined, including Russia, China? That's a fact.
Rich,
okay?
That's a fair question, and let me respond with this. Why do you think Donald Trump said to the NATO nations, hey, get your spending up? We've been footing the bill for decades here. What the hell's up with that? Get it up to the 5% per the agreement, because you people just expect our citizens to keep protecting everybody and solving the world's problems with our blood and treasure. So you people get up there, and if you don't, and there's an incident, don't think we're coming. And what happened after that, Rich? Billions of dollars just flowed in, because prior to Trump, they knew they could take advantage of the United States. So, yeah, we're spending a hell of a lot. As a matter of fact, our interest now, even our interest on our debt is actually more than our defense budget now for the first time. That's disgusting. But the point is, we've got to do something so that there is peace, and we are the biggest stick on the street. At the same time, though, this isn't a like a myopic view. At the same time, trillions of dollars of investment and factory building is coming into the country. When this all settles, who's going to be controlling the flow of oil on the planet? It's not going to be Iran. It's not going to be China. It's not going to be Venezuela, is it?
How are we going to take over a country of 90 million people?
We don't want to take over a country, Rich. We really don't.
No, let me finish. I know it's dropping bombs. Do you think they're going to give up? All we're going to do is, look.
No, I get your point, and they're not going to give up because
I have no problem.
Yeah.
I have no problem with anybody that voted for Trump in 2016, who voted for him in 2020, who voted for him in 2024. None at all. Okay, he's out of his mind now. Okay, and it's just unbelievable that you don't understand that he's totally sold out to Zion. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to do
Ted,
this.
did you want to say something, Ted? Ted wanted to jump in here.
Yeah.
Rich.
Look, one of the clear indications of sophisticated propaganda is expecting both to be the same. They're never the same. And Joe's made it clear to you. Nuclear power in the hands of Israel is nothing like nuclear power in the hands of Iran. And it needs to be squelched. It needs to be wiped out. And dropping bombs for that purpose is not immoral. It's not unethical. It's the right thing to do.
There's a parallel, Rich, right?
Google the Samson option, okay? Israel will have no, Google the Samson option, all right? And there's all kinds of Jewish people that are opposed to the right wing nuts running Israel. I'm not
right. There always are. There always are.
Yeah, that's par for the course, Rich. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when we get Congress to pass something with 60 plus, 60 something percent, we're thrilled. Never mind when Congress passes something with 75, 76%. In other words, there's always going to be people that have a problem. But the question becomes, what is best for a nation at that time? And the nation's own interest should always go first. I just believe that. And I believe that America should always be putting our interest first. And our interest is to be sure of two things: that Iran never has nuclear capability to hit Israel, but also never to hit the United States of America. And the second part of that is come on, Rich. You want to go through the 47 years of acts of war? They had active assassination attempts on the president, the secretary, our ambassador over there. They seized our embassy and hostages in 1979 and have opened each of their version of parliament with a chant of death to America. If you don't think they're our enemy and they're actually a threat to us, I don't know what to tell you, man.
They don't. I mean, how can they? We've wiped.
Now we have.
Okay, let me ask you a question. This is applicable to Venezuela. Okay, how do you think the mullahs came into power, and how do you think Hugo Chavez got elected in Venezuela? Because of the regimes that were friendly to us were so corrupt, and the populations rose up against them.
Yeah, hindsight is always 20/20.
Our sanctions policies. How about Cuba? We're starving the Cuba. How is Cuba?
No, well, wait a minute. We aren't starving Cuba.
Cuba's starving itself.
Yeah, through their actions, their government, their policies. And guess what? They, or I should say the grandson over there, they're saying, you know what? They reached out to America. And they're saying, hey, let's have a conversation as equals here, and maybe we can do something. I don't know. Maybe a year from now, Cuba's, the hottest vacation place for American citizens. We had no intention of invading or bombing Cuba. They're no threat to us in that way. You know what they're a threat to us for? Because they have been first for the old USSR that has built an incredible system of listening posts and in trafficking stuff there. And then China has been down there in our hemisphere working with Cuba that's where our danger comes from. I mean, we go back to the Cuban Missile Crisis, but in 90 miles off our coast. Now, and I have had countless conversations with Cuban refugees or immigrants here in this country. And one guy I'm talking to, and he's saying, the only way he could survive, Rich, was to actually rob anybody on the street. And I said, and my friend said to him, well, Jesus, you're an island. Go to the ocean, fish. You can eat all. He goes, no, you can't fish in Cuba without a license. They will imprison you if you try to do that. So yes, their people are starving, not because of the United States. It's because of the actions they took under communism that started with the uprising of Fidel Castro. So now, after decades of living under this horrible regime and conditions, the grandson, or is it the great nephew, whatever he is to Fidel Castro, saying, hey, can we talk, America? And Trump is saying, yeah, Trump will make a deal with anybody as long as it comes out good for the United States. So
everything you said is true, but until the Soviet Union dissolved. Okay, all the stuff.
Yeah, and China moved right in, Rich. That's my point. Is that infrastructure has been in Cuba since the Cold War, and China moved right in. China said, hey, we'll build some ports, we'll do this, but you know what? We get to have our listening posts. We get to put our spies 90 miles off the coast. Rich, I'm coming up to another break. Go ahead, have the final say on this. I'll give it to you.
Last thing I'll say is, okay, does China have 800 military bases in 179 countries?
Thank God, no.
Okay. No, nice. Thanks for giving me the time, and I'm rooting for all of us, okay?
Rich, perfect. I'm rooting for all of us. Republican, Democrat, unenrolled, right? Whatever you are, American citizens. And thank you, Rich, for the call. I appreciate it. Look, our thing is we got a guy who's making America first. To me, he has been not just correcting the ship here. He's been rearranging all the pieces on the world chessboard, and they're going to be in our favor. But our favor, in his mind, is a healthy economy and success, and people are making money. But we got to take our mid-show break here, so stick with us. Come back on the other side. 2 minutes, 15 seconds, folks.
Time now for the forecast from the Boston Independence Group Weather Center. Call Jerry Doherty today at 877-772-1776. Retirement is within reach.
I'm meteorologist Tucker Antico, and here's the latest Boston 25 weather on Radio 830 WCRN. Today is going to be as nice as it gets for this time of year. We're talking highs in the low 70s, and it may even break records in spots. Plenty of sun throughout the day, too. Tomorrow, we begin the day around 40 degrees, high temperatures back down to the mid to upper 50s, with a few showers out and about and cooler weather that will follow. I'm meteorologist Tucker Antico, and you can hear Boston 25 live for the morning drive weekdays on AM 830 WCRN.
More live and local radio is next. Stay tuned to Radio Central 830 WCRN.
Boston, are you ready for a show that's unique and different? Blind and Beyond Radio Show is the only commercial radio show in the world for the visually impaired and the blind community. We are the bridge between the blind community and the sighted community. This show is sponsored by Carroll Center for the Blind in Newton, Mass. Fun, informative, educational, with trivia prizes every Sunday night. Blind and Beyond Radio Show every Sunday night, 7 to 9 p.m. on WCRN 830 a.m.
Nationally recognized surgeon Dr. Terry Dubrow responds to our health crisis, creating the next level hand sanitizer.
Persistence is something next level. It's based on what we use in the operating room. It gives you up to 4 hours of additional killing power.
A hand sanitizer with a surgeon's level of protection. Available now at drpersist.com. That's drpersist.com.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the second half of the Tuesday afternoon edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. And I want to thank Rich. Rich, I like when somebody who doesn't just totally agree with me calls, because we get a chance to have that discussion and a back and forth and points. And as you talked, there was a lot of things we actually agreed on. So, good there. I don't think that Donald Trump was going to be pushed into anything by Netanyahu or anyone else. And in the big picture, as you said, man, going off, cheering for everybody. And I think a disarmed Iran, but better yet, an Iran with a different regime, because before the uprising in 79, and we've talked about this on this show. I know Peter Balut and I have talked about it. You can go back, man, the pictures of the 60s and 70s. Iran is the proper way to say it. Iran was the mini skirt capital of the world, right? Women went to school, they drove, they were judges, they were lawyers, they were on TV. They were very Western, and then this oppression came. And that's why you've got, if we believe everything coming out of there, 80% of the general population that were being killed by the thousands for protesting, imprisoned or gunned down in the street or scheduled hangings, went back into their homes. I don't blame them. But what Trump is saying is, hey, we're paving the way now to do it. I've also, and I can, take it with a grain of salt, but some of these Iranian soldiers who have covered their face and have been able to get out a video saying, look, we're taking our uniforms home. We're off. We're going home. And if the people rise again, we're not doing that. We will support them. So hopefully in a couple of years from now, we look at Iran as Dubai or the United Emirates, and free travel there and free trade, and women are allowed to choose whether or not they want to, follow that religion or not. And there's a choice of religion in those countries. And Cuba is a fantastic vacation place for us. And maybe we want, grab a condo on the coast of Cuba. I don't know. Let's see what happens. It looks good, though. 508-871-7000. Hey, Mark, thanks for calling back. What say you, man?
Yeah, well, Rich, I hate to tell you, old buddy, but it's a done deal.
Yeah.
Regime change is going to take place. You'll go down to downtown Tehran in a couple of years, and you're going to see the mini skirts, and you're going to see the whiskey a go-go's everywhere, like it was in downtown Tehran back in 1968.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it on. They're ready for it. And you know what? They're sick of those imams. 50% of the country is female, and they're sick and tired of him and his headgear and his this and his that. And, no, they're done with him.
Yeah,
So
Mark.
We've already got 50% of their domestic population. I hate to tell you.
And the other thing is, if you think about this, right, we're seeing the largest.
I thought about it a lot.
The largest feminine movement, and probably in the history of the sexes here, that you have a country full of these women who are out there, ripping off the hijab and smoking and rebelling. And of course, again, they were shot and arrested and hung. But they did it, and they'll do it again, I believe, Mark. And that's something great. I mean,
there ain't no question about it. All they need is what we're doing now, to bomb the living hell out of them and cut the head off the snake, take the gatekeepers and do what you got to do with them, disappear them. And then guess what? You created a vacuum, and that's when you put Shah of Iran's son, little Pahlavi, back into where his father was deposed from. Back in 1970? Yeah, put him right back in there. Like I say, he's already got half of he's got the female population. That's half the population.
Yeah, absolutely. But this whole thing of the Nepo baby, right? Kaman Ali, was it Mahab Tabia? However you pronounce it, my apologies. I mean, prior to all this, This kid wasn't considered the brightest bulb on the beach. He's not, he has no charisma. He doesn't speak well. What are they doing? They're like, hey, it doesn't matter. Life expectancy is about 24 hours, so just put him in there. I don't know. I agree with you, Mark. What's going on right now is paving the way for them to take charge of their country again, to go back to what it was before the Islamic uprising in '79, and restore it to the once glory days of it. And look at most of these Persians, and Persians isn't 100% of the population. There's all kinds of factions there, folks. But there was a mass exodus to the United States in '79, and for whatever reason, the LA Beverly Hills area was one of the biggest areas where they ended up going, which is why you go out there now, man, does it have a massive Persian population. I mean, they're on the second and third generation, and like on a copy machine, the third and fourth copies aren't quite as bright as the first one, but they're out there. Oh, you're gone. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you, Mark, for the call. I greatly appreciate it. All right. 508-871-7000 if you'd like to talk about what is going on there. You can go to, CENTCOM. They do a morning and an afternoon brief. And I would suggest to go watch that or go read the transcript of that. And instead of getting crap filtered through MSN Now or CNN or even Fox News, just go watch it yourself. And you'll see Pete Hegseth or is he General or Admiral Cooper? I thought he was Navy, but maybe it is General Cooper. Answer the questions. Look, they have this well in hand. We saw a taste of our ability in Venezuela, and we're seeing this. The story I started at the show with the Navy captain who baited them with sending dozens and dozens of suicide drones because they thought we were shooting our load of $2 million a missile. He did that purposely, and we just zapped them with EMP pulse weapons, and they fell out of the sky like rocks. And now we got the Hormuz, right? Strait of Hormuz. We have this issue, and Trump said, you know what? Fine, we'll escort. We'll guarantee this, and the pieces are falling in place in a lot of places here. Maybe it's happenstance. Maybe if we give too much credit to think Trump is playing 3D chess or not. But all that oil in Venezuela is going to be controlled by American-friendly corporations. We're going to have a big say in it. The Iranian oil isn't going to be sold to China. China's going to be pissed about the situation because they've been getting oil that they desperately need at discount prices. And that's not going to happen anymore. And I know they like to kind of hold that, over our head with these rare minerals and all that kind of jazz. But they need a lot of oil. And And they've been opening a coal plant, by the way, get to the Green New Deal stuff. China's been opening a coal plant on an average about once a week. That's how many they have and continue. And their plan was to do that till 2032. 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. Let's go to Freddie. Freddie, who's watching the stream. Hey, Freddie, how are you? What say you?
Hi, Joe. First off, would love a thank you from you. I have entered the Rumblescape, and I am your first viewer on Rumble today.
Oh, fantastic! Fantastic.
I'm one of one now. My mom always said I was a very special boy, and I guess it's proving to be true now. I'm one of one. I am the sole person. If this was an auditorium, I would be sitting kind of in the middle.
I'd say just come back to the office if it was only you. But what happens is, Freddie, the Rumble thing, nobody really ever watches because I'm 1 o'clock.
Well, I do.
Yeah, you do, and thank you for that. But most people I see watch.
For saying thank you.
Not even later in the day. They'll watch it tomorrow at some point. But it's the library, as you can see, the library is there.
They'll watch the replay. Saying some people watch it on the VOD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just checking the numbers on yesterday. It looks like you are correct. It looks like a 19 like-minded individuals did check out the stream. So you're right. It does kind of become a bit of an avalanche on the VODs.
Yeah.
But the real main reason that I am calling in today, honestly, is my name is Freddie, as I mentioned, but I'm sort of more well-known online and to my friends and to my loved ones as Fedora Freddie. And I got to admit, a little bit disappointed to see you wearing a nasty baseball cap today.
Well, wait a minute. But look at what's on it. It's a station
What does it
cap.
say on it?
WCRN. It has a logo.
Well, have you considered going to the upper management? I know how us radio guys hate the management, but going to management and saying, "Could you get me a logoed fedora?" Because that's, I think, one of the
wait.
Joe, does this give me license to hate you since you're the general manager?
Yeah, Freddie, you might not know this, but I'm actually the general manager of the station too. So as that role,
that should be a lot easier for you than
you think it would be. But you know what? I'm a real asshole in those meetings. Whoa, that was a slip of the tongue. Yeah, what is the point?
Who's the guy? Who's that guy talking to me?
That Ted A is the producer here.
Teddy, I got a question for you. Are you wearing it?
It's just Ted.
Well, God rest her soul. But my question for you, Ted, is: are you wearing a fedora, or are you wearing a nasty baseball cap, like some sort of baseball player chewing tobacco and whatnot?
Ready.
Oh, that's one. Hey, Ted, that's one of the worst comebacks I've ever heard in my life. I'm just, in all seriousness, though.
In all seriousness, Freddie, basically, 3 out of the 4 days I do this, the fedora is on. Go look at the library. Today, I have in my office, I actually have those things on the wall for the hats, and I decide what to wear as I'm going out. But Freddie, I am against a hard break. You're welcome to hold over here because you still haven't got to your question or your point. So please feel free to do that if you'd like. But folks, we do have to take the third and final break. Like I said, these aren't floating, what we call in the business. They use our hard breaks. 508-871-7000. Don't forget the text line, 617-297-8388. Like I said, Freddie, we'll come back to you on the other side if you'd like, but we'll be back in 2 minutes and 20 seconds now, folks. Stick with us.
Polar Park is the place to play. It's still the best ballpark in AAA. Unibank fireworks every Friday. Sunset catches every Saturday. And kids run the bases every Sunday. Visit WooSox.com or call 508-500-8888 and get your tickets today. Polar Park is the place to play. It's still the best ballpark in AAA.
This is Jerry Doherty, host of Making Money Last, right here on WCRN. Like all business owners, I'm interested in why people choose to work with Boston Independence Group. So I asked my clients. The most common response, Jerry does not try to be all things to all people. Boston Independence Group is specialized, focused solely on retirement planning. My customers enjoy the difference. We do one thing, and we do it exceptionally well. Help other people live better in retirement. That's it. If you're ready to retire or making plans to retire, we can do for you what we've done for hundreds of other retirees throughout New England. Live better in retirement. Just give me a call. I'll show you how. My toll-free number is 877-772-1776. Again, that number is 877-772-1776. And you can visit us on the web at bostonindependencegroup.com. bostonindependencegroup.com.
Supplements are a tricky business. Some are made in China and other countries with poor quality control. Many supplements contain fillers and dyes that may actually harm you. Many ingredients are not bioavailable and can't be used efficiently by your body. Let Phil George, the biochemist from Wellness Wave Radio, help you navigate these minefields. Just contact Phil at philgeorge@charter.net for a free consult.
All right, folks, welcome back here to the fourth and final segment of the Tuesday afternoon edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN Radio Central, reminding you can join the conversation with the time we have left together at 508-871-7000. That's 508-871-7000, or the text line 617-297-8388. Going to the break, Freddie Fedora. Is that it? Is that the handle, Freddie Fedora?
Correct.
Okay. Are you on X?
So am I on X?
Yeah. Like, do you go on your social media as Freddie Fedora? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I was on X as Freddie Fedora, but I was banned from the X, which I didn't know was actually possible anymore. I was banned for making threats to people, which I don't even believe is true. And if it went to a litigation, I would believe I would win, but that's not the world that we live in.
Well, I on X there is a Freddie Fedora. Do you wear glasses?
I do wear glasses.
I think your account's still there.
Oh no, that's one of the many trolls that actually has created an account in order to besmirch my name. So
what prompted the call today, Freddie?
I think I was clear on what prompted the call. I watch your show every day. I'm enamored with the fedora. I love you're one of the only fedora hosts that I, in this day and age, you very infrequently see a fedora host. And I come in today and you're wearing a nasty baseball cap, like it's the seventh inning stretch or something like that. Do you have the fedora in the studio? Could you do a switch up for the fourth segment?
They're in my office. There's probably 8 of them on the wall.
Do you think the co-host could vamp for 25 seconds? I know it might be boring radio, but
Freddie, I'm rarely vamping. If you had a chance to see me, you'd know why. But let me assure you that
mean? Why do you
Joe
say stuff
shares
like that?
your fedora fetish.
Well,
He has so many fedoras. It's crazy. I have fedoras, but I can't wear them anymore because Joe is the fedora freak.
And the thing about it is it's not just, it is a station hat, which I have made, and I'm wearing one of the classic ones. This one actually, this has the new logo. I have the new logo. I probably have about 7 of these baseball caps with our various logos over the last 20 plus years. And I just decided I was going to put the station. So it does have a station logo. So I think that I should get a pass on this.
I've got all the blue ones, Joe. I need the red one.
The red one, right.
They'll print on a fedora. You could get a fedora and get the station logo on the fedora. It's not an excuse, with all due respect. I have a lot of respect.
Well, I'm not making an excuse. It's just something I never did. I'm not I'm not making an excuse.
Freddie, do you have a question for us?
Or is it just we wanted to talk about that?
Talk about your fetish.
It's not a fetish. It's not a sexual thing at all. It's weird that you make it
fetish
sexual,
isn't relative to sex. I'm glad we know how
actually
your mind
it is.
works. But
it actually
fetish
is.
has to do with behavior relative
to
an
it's actually
object.
No, it's actually related to sex. You should
Freddie,
look it up again, Teddy.
Freddie, don't go to
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. Go to a real document that'll explain it to you.
You guys okay? Look,
I
got to get me a fedora.
All right, so
in all seriousness, though, I don't want to sit here and have like some back and forth with some
great idea. Ask us a question. Make your point real.
I've actually asked a number of questions, Teddy, and the fact that you.
All right, I'm done.
All right, Freddie. Thank you for watching. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, the fedora has been a signature trademark of mine for many years. I was a fedora wearing guy when a friend of mine created the Out With Joe logo about, I guess we're pushing 20 years ago. And it stayed in the incarnations of logos. You can look at the Joe Mangiacotti logo, Joe Mangiacotti Show logo, and I'm wearing a fedora. You can look at the Cameo Media, I'm wearing it. So yeah, I do have several in the station, but my home office, Freddie, the walls are actually adorned. If you go look at the videos that when I broadcast from the Cameo studios, you'll actually see them being displayed on the walls all around me. But if you look in the background above the TV screen, you're going to see 2 shelves of baseball caps, and you'll see all the different station logos over the years. You'll see a lot of Trump hats up there because I get sent them on a regular basis. In my other businesses, I have baseball caps with the logos to my other companies also up there. So, yeah, but that's it. Anything else you'd like to add today, Freddie?
Well, I want to say I almost threw up when you mentioned a shelf of baseball caps. That made me literally sick.
I don't know why you have this thing against baseball caps. I get it.
I don't know if vomit is really a visualization we want to share with our audience.
You know what I don't like, Freddie? And maybe that's not the way to say it. But when you go to I'm not talking a pub, but actually we went out to dinner the other night at a fairly nice restaurant. And there are, Ken's. I'll tell you, it was at Ken's Steakhouse, and I'm in the main dining room, and a couple comes in, and the guy has a baseball cap on. Now, I wore a fedora into the restaurant. I wore my fedora into the restaurant, but when I was, being shown to my seat, I took the fedora off. I placed it on the chair. I didn't wear it during dinner, but
As a gentleman should.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. And if this was another time, someone would have been there to take my fedora, my cane, and my hat. They would have put it in a room for me while I ate dinner. But I watched the guy come in, and I said, and I was at dinner with my fiance, and I said, is this guy going to take the baseball cap off when he sits down? And he didn't. Nor did he. He wasn't a gentleman to the lady friend. In other words, he walked ahead of her. He didn't pull her chair out. He basically didn't look at her. He checked his phone several times. So I'm like, not a gentleman. Not a gentleman. Any final thoughts, Freddie? We're running out of time.
Well, yeah, I what was the guy's name who did that? Probably Teddy, because that sounds like something Teddy would do as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you're a real sweetheart, aren't you? I love you.
Thank God there's still gentlemen like you and I, Joe. Thank God there's still gentlemen like you and I, sir. Have a good day.
All right, I'm a sucker for that.
I tip my cap to you.
I took the punch.
You, sir.
You made me blush. Thanks, Freddie.
Ted A fell in the sword for me. All right, folks, 508-871-7000 to join the conversation. It's 508-871-7000. And as Freddie pointed out, yes, the library is on Rumble. And no, nobody really watches it live. It's more, I'll tell you what it is, because I can see. People are watching either on Twitch TV or WCRN YouTube channel. That's where people are watching it right now. And you can go to the library anytime you want, Joe Mangiacotti Show, or just subscribe to the podcast. All right, folks, a couple other things. I wanted to get into this, and maybe I can do it a little bit tomorrow. I think I'm going to have Deaton on. He is a veteran. He was on before his candidate, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. This whole Gracie Mansion thing, I mean, wow, with the coverage. Depending on which network you're watching, which news outlet you're watching, right? And I mean, and CNN has taken a lot of static over their initial post in covering it, as almost as if these, bomb-making throwing jihadists were the real victims here. Unbelievable. And even Bomdami making all those moves, he couldn't really come out against the ISIS-inspired bombers who, in their own words, said, we wanted this to be worse than the Boston Marathon. That only took 3 lives. They wanted to murder people. They wanted to murder people. And Mandami is dancing around it, and he's going to latch on to Islamophobia. Stop with that. Really grow up, people. Just grow up about this. And then the original right post. Oh, it was like they were writing a novel. 2 Pennsylvania men on a Saturday morning follow the route taken by thousands as they crossed the George Washington Bridge into New York City for a wonderful day of brunch and mimosas. I don't know what the hell they were trying to do here. But less than an hour later, they're trying to kill people in front of Gracie Mansion where a protest was taken. And what do? They take their Mandami and the left. They try to focus on the protests. Look, there's protests going on all over the place everywhere. Haven't we kind of come to that point where we just protests happening all over the place? But they're not always peaceful. And these guys turned it into a non-peaceful event. But I got to, before I run out of time, I got to, and if I wish I had the fedora on right now, because I would tip it to New York's finest, New York Police Department, because these officers, when they hear gunshots and the commotion and they see these things being tossed, they charge right in to protect and to serve. And yes, these teenage morons, thank God they didn't have enough common sense and intelligence to make these things a workable bomb. Doesn't mean they couldn't have been. They were packed with, screws and things to cause maximum damage, but they didn't ignite. But the police officers didn't know whether they were going to ignite or not. It didn't stop them from doing their job. So remember, this is all this is the mayor who wants to defund them in his chastisement. And the guy, he's the same guy who said when they were being pelted with ice and snowballs, it was just a snowball fight. No, a snowball fight is when two people are engaged in an activity that they understand it to be. But this coverage has been crazy. This is an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old. And this self-radicalized? No. When you take a trip to a foreign country, Muslim country, no, I'm running out of time, but the point is, folks, I'll get into this a little bit more tomorrow. The way they tried to cover this whole thing is absolutely disgusting when you think about it. And the Department of Justice says that after being apprehended, both suspects said they were aligned with ISIS, not radical MAGA extremists, folks. But we have to wrap up the Tuesday edition of the Joe Mangiacotti Show on AM 830 WCRN. I want to thank everybody who listens and participated. Great calls today. Back tomorrow afternoon, same bat time, same bat channel, folks. So enjoy the rest of the day. Frankie Boy is up next. She's always got great information to listen to. So enjoy the rest of the day. See you back here tomorrow. Joe out, folks.